What up, what up? So first off, praise the living God always. Listen, I'm going to give you guys example of, how God's hand works in someone who believes life. This happened to me and my family just a few days ago, and I'm going to go ahead and tell the story about it. So we're on a road trip, 800 miles home from where we were. We're about 4 hours into the road trip, 200 some miles into the road trip, and boom, the car starts acting up. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was loud. Really, 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 really loud. So we're driving, and the exit's still like a mile and a half away. And I already had dropped from going 70, and now I'm going 30, and my foot's the whole way down on the gas. And we're just slowly losing speed and power, and the car is just getting louder and louder by the second. So, I'm panicking, and I got all my kids in the car. I'm looking in my rear view mirrors to see if, I throw on my hazards, make sure people are seeing me and not about to run into the back of me, because everybody's just foof, 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 flying by me. So I'm just, hoping and praying that we get to this exit. So I'm driving, and, after it seems like forever, we finally see the exit. And I get off on this exit. Now, mind you, I'm in South Carolina at this time. I don't know nobody there. And when I get off at the exit, me and my wife are looking left, looking right. There's nothing there. No gas stations, no hotels. There's no houses. It's literally trees and big farms. So we don't know which way to turn. So we just decide to turn right. So we turn right. We drive. I mean, the van is all but shutting off. I'm trying to keep it on just by keeping the gas jammed to the floor, and it's loud. And next thing you know, we see a little community of houses, and the community of the house is named Meadow Run, and it just so happens that my home, where I live, is named Meadow Run. So it's like, okay, it's kind of, awkward, because it's like, wow, this is home, and now I'm broke down, so it feels like this is about to be home, because once I pull into this community, I don't think my car is going to stay on no more. So we pull into the community. I quickly notice there's not one person outside. It's completely quiet. All the people's cars must be in their garages, because there's no cars in the driveway. I'm like, if we stop here, we might be stuck here. So while the car's still on, me and my wife decided that we're going to turn, bang the Yui, go back out, and came the way we came, and try to go past the exit if we can make it, and ride up the road that way. Now, mind you, the car is like pow 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 pow. So we're driving. We pass the exit. There's no people, no cars. I don't see anyone. And up ahead, maybe another half mile past that exit, we see a church. It sits by itself, and it's just a church with a parking lot, and it's like a Y in the road. So we stay straight, and we pull into the church parking lot, and I'm like, at least if we break down here, hopefully they won't tow me away right away if I leave them a note, at least, and then we could figure out, Uber or Lyft or somewhere to get us to somewhere to stay. So I turn the car off in the parking lot. I reach for my door handle and step 1 foot out the car. Immediately, by the time my foot hits the ground, there's a black car coming straight up to me, and we haven't seen anyone. And this guy hops out his car. He got a red plaid shirt on, some blue jeans. He got red hair, red mustache, a big old wad of tobacco in his mouth, and he's like, I heard your car there. I mean, deep country accent. He's like, I heard your car there, man. Sounding pretty loud. And he said, pop the hood. Because I just got out the car to pop the hood to look. I haven't had time to get out the car yet. And there's already a guy approaching me. So he pulls my oil dipstick out, and he's like, looks like you got a blown head gasket there. And I ask him, I'm like, well, I don't see anything around. I said, is it possible for you to help me get to somewhere that, has a hotel, has a gas station, has something, to be able to keep my family for the night until I figure out what this problem is. So we go ahead, and this guy's like, yeah, man, he said, I'll follow you there, but he said, you go ahead and stay in front of me and watch my signals, and when my turn signals come on, that's where you turn at. So I hop in the van. Luckily, it starts back up, pow, 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 but it starts. And I put the foot on the gas, it moves too. So I'm like, all right, I yam the gas to the floor and we're going maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour back these country roads, up and down these hills. And it feels like the van's not even going to make it up every single hill we come up to. The guy's behind us, he's signaling, but he's also blocking any other traffic that came, making them drive slow so that no accidents are happening. I'm like, man, this is awesome. We didn't have to wait a minute for somebody to help us. And he's already, we're already 2 miles in, the van's kicking. I'm like, all right, I don't know exactly what, you know what I'm saying, is going to happen, but we're going to make it. So we see some hotels coming up, and he keeps going. He doesn't stop to say anything else. We pull into the hotel parking lot, get the car shut off, quick feeling of relief. We're like, next step, get in this hotel, figure out what's wrong with the car. We're traveling with not much money. The whole family's with us, and boom, my wife goes in the hotel. She tells the hotel lady what's going on with us. Now, mind you, on the way up, we had tried to stop at a hotel just because we were tired and we were driving overnight. So when we did that the night before, every single hotel we stopped at, because there were 7 of us, we had to get 2 rooms, is what they were telling us. They wouldn't just allow us to get a few hours of sleep, you know what I mean, in a room that we could all just bunch together and get our rest real quick. They wanted to sell us 2 rooms, so we just decided to drive straight where we were going. But now on the way back, we're broke down. We tell the lady, and she comes back out, and she says, the lady waived all the charges. She put the room in her name so that the hotel wouldn't get in trouble for not charging us the fees for keeping the room clean and whatnot. So I'm like, man, it's turning out to be, completely easy. The guy was there after we seen nobody way out in the country, got us to a hotel. The van continued to work. It's been miles we've been driving it now, even though it's, as loud as it can possibly be. And now they done waived the hotel fees when we're traveling with little money. So we get in the room. We have a pretty hard time finding somebody to deliver us some food, because obviously we're way out in the country. There's nothing here in South Carolina. And finally we found a pizza place to deliver us some pizzas. We got something to eat in our stomach, laid down for the night. The next morning I get up. Luckily I had brought my tools with me, and I know a little bit about auto mechanics, so I went out to look at it. The minute that I walked out the hotel and over to my vehicle, there's a guy, 2 cars are between us. He's parked in the same parking area, two cars between us, working on his car. He gets up from working on his car, comes over to me, and is like, hey man, I gotta run to the auto parts store, but when I get back, I'm gonna help you fix your car. And I'm thinking like, yo, you're working on your car, and I just opened my hood up. Like, how do you even know really that I'm having a problem? But I'm like, oh man, yeah, that would be great, man. I got my tools with me. I just got to figure out what's going on here so I can order the part, or see if I got to get a garage, or if my engine's shot and I got to get a rental car home. Like, I'm 800 or like 600 miles from home at this time. But the guy goes to the store. I go back up to the room. I tell my wife, come back down. The guy goes to the store. He comes back. Man, this guy buys me a drink and everything while he's at the store, and then he proceeds to help me with the vehicle. Stood there with me. He could have went back to doing his work on his car, but he was genuine in saying he was gonna help me. So now I got all this other stuff happen, and as soon as I walk out, there's a dude there that wants to help me fix my car. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, thank you, God. Like, this could have been so much work. Like, in my head, I'm praising God. I'm saying it out loud too, but in my head, I'm like crying out to God. So the man's helping me fix my car. He's like, let's use our phone camera to stick down in there and record to see if we'll be able to figure out, where this sound is coming from. Because you could feel like air puffs coming out every time the blah, 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 blah happens. So we're like, okay, it's probably like a compression thing of some sort. Let's see if I like cracked something on my engine or whatnot. So he puts the phone down in there, and then he pulls it back out, and we're watching the recording. And he's like, there it is right there. And a spark plug had, not the wire came off of it, but it had actually spun backwards out, and it was still attached to the wire. He pulls the wire up. Here's the spark plug. So I'm like, man, it doesn't even look like it's damaged, or like usually when that type of thing happens, it like rips your threads apart. You got to get that whole area like rethreaded, new spark plug. It's a pretty big job. You need the machine that does it. You know, it's not something that you could just pull up and get done really easily. It takes time. And but the threads are all there. Everything's good with my spark plug, man. We put the spark plug back in. Actually, the guy, I didn't do it. The guy put the spark plug back in for me, popped the wire back on, and I started up my van. And it was quieter than it was before we even left on the trip. I mean, it was so amazing, so mind-blowing. And we got back. I ran upstairs, told my wife, pack up, let's leave, we're going home. She packed up. Within 3 minutes, we were back in the van and on the road, and made it the rest of the trip home. And once I got home and really sat back and thought about it for a little while, I was like, this is amazing. You know, God had every single person lined up exactly where they needed to be able to be a blessing to me, so that this crazy stressful event went smoothly, and even ended up not having to pay any money to fix my vehicle, and got better gas mileage on the way back after it was fixed. And then on top of that, I had stayed up all night the night before and then chose to take this long drive. So I'm on the highway tired, and I even got to pull over and get rest in a nice hotel room for the night, and then get the car fixed and back on the road. It was just like, man, the hands of God. And then the cool part, when I pulled into that first Meadow Run community, that place was home for the night. I mean, that same place was home, just like the sign was, rang true to me, because that's our home. That place ended up being home. So it was like the sign from the very beginning. The first thing we saw was a sign that reminded us of home. The second thing we saw was a church. And then after that, I mean, the man came, the lady at the hotel waived fees. I mean, it was just a great experience, and it was just like, if I did not have a relationship with God, and if I did not know God, would the situation have been different? Because I personally don't believe in coincidence. What's supposed to happen is going to happen. It's not a coincidence. So I just encourage everyone to just get on your knees and just tell God that you want more of him in your life and more of his spirit, so that you can also live in the blessings of God. Because this is just one story that I could tell you. I have many more stories of things that have happened, but this is so recent, and it was just so amazing how I was in the middle of nowhere, but yet every single person was there to be able to put me back on my feet. And so God sends his angels. You know what I mean? There's a hedge of protection over you. There's nothing that, when you're a child of God, you're not defeated by the enemy. You're not defeated by the distractions. You live in the blessings of God. And I just encourage everybody to listen to this and take what you take from it. But just know it wasn't coincidence, man. My family wasn't hurt. We slept, we ate, we were able to take care of the problem. We didn't have to spend money. And I mean, it was just a supernatural experience. So if you listen this far, thanks for listening. I love you. It's King Ken. Holla, be a light.